My dear children, rest your weary hearts, and come to me in this serene hour, when the silence of night envelopes your restless souls. The world celebrates my mother as Queen of Peace, and I desire to reveal to you a secret that I have carried in my heart from eternity. When I was conceived in her virginal womb, I brought with me not only salvation, but also that profound peace, which is the very essence of my divinity. My mother was the first human creature to experience this peace that surpasses all understanding, that stillness which remains firm even when everything around collapses and wavers. When I was still in her womb, while other women worried about their children's future, my mother lived in supernatural serenity because she had understood that every beat of her heart was guided by the Father's will. This was her peace. Not the absence of difficulties, but the absolute certainty that God's love governs all things. When the angel Gabriel announced to her the mystery of the Incarnation, you see, she did not seek human reassurances, did not ask for guarantees about the future, did not demand to understand every detail of the divine plan. Her fiat flowed from a heart already completely pacified by trust in God. In that moment, dear children, the greatest miracle was realized. A human creature who welcomes the infinite without being overwhelmed, who says yes to the impossible, while remaining in perfect peace. This is the model that my mother offers to each of you. During my childhood in Nazareth, I learned from her the art of daily serenity. I would see her rise at dawn with a radiant face, tackle domestic hardships without ever complaining, welcome every guest with a genuine smile, even when food was scarce, even when Joseph struggled to find work, even when neighbors whispered about the strangeness of our family. My mother maintained that inner peace, which made our home a corner of paradise on earth. But it was during the years of my public life that my mother's peace was put to the hardest test. While I preached in the streets of Palestine, she remained in the silence of prayer, often not knowing where I was, hearing the criticism directed at me, witnessing the growing hostility of the Pharisees. Yet she never stopped me, never tried to hold me back out of fear, never let herself be overcome by maternal anxiety. Her peace was stronger than fear because it was rooted in unshakable faith. How often, my children, you lose peace over much less. A traffic delay irritates you. A wrong word offends you. A project that doesn't materialize throws you into discouragement. But my mother teaches you a precious secret. Peace does not depend on external circumstances, but on the inner attitude with which you face every situation. When your heart is anchored to God like hers, no storm can defeat you. I remember that terrible Friday when she stood at the foot of my cross. Her mother's heart was breaking seeing me suffer, yet her eyes remained full of that peace she had guarded for 30 years. She did not scream, did not despair, did not curse my executioners. In that supreme moment of pain, my mother perfectly embodied God's peace that transforms even the most atrocious suffering into an offering of love. This is the peace that I want to give to each of you through the immaculate heart of my mother, not a superficial peace that flees at the first difficulties, but that profound serenity which transforms every cross into blessing, every tear into a precious pearl, every trial into an opportunity for spiritual growth. When you feel overwhelmed by the worries of the world, take refuge in my mother's heart, as I myself did for 9 months in her womb. Today's world has forgotten this authentic peace. Men seek it in success, in money, in ephemeral pleasures. But all this is like trying to quench thirst by drinking salt water. The more one drinks, the more the thirst increases. True peace is found only in total abandonment to God's will, in imitating my mother, who made her life a continuous yes to divine love. When your families are torn by conflicts, when work oppresses you, when illness knocks at your door, remember that my mother went through similar trials, while always remaining in peace. Learn from her to transform every difficult moment into prayer, every suffering into union with my passion, every joy into thanksgiving to the Father. My mother's peace is not passivity, but the greatest force that exists, that of loving even when one is not loved in return, of forgiving even when one is betrayed, of hoping even when all seems lost. This divine strength, dear children, is at your disposal every time you turn to her with sincere heart. I bless you in the name of my mother, Queen of Peace. I bless you so that you may experience that serenity which she lived every day of her earthly existence. I bless you so that you may become in turn bearers of peace in a world that desperately needs it, living witnesses of the love that conquers all fear. Your Jesus, Prince of Peace.